would you say is the most frightening thing you've encountered out there lately, Mel? It's important for someone in my position to keep up with the latest on this front.
Well, I'd have to go with the raging infernal beast guarding the only viable way into Tartarus. Absolutely massive, countless sharp fangs, 3 fire-spitting maws. Though he's also my family's dog.
Ah, you had me going. Well, if you're telling me there's nothing scarier out there than a pet dog, it means I've got no competition. Time to rest on these laurels some more.
Please make yourself comfortable.
All that you see is my domain.
I was born for this. I call upon the moon and draw you down.
As daylight fades upon the surface, we begin to shine. I shall distract your enemies, while you press ever closer to the resolution that we Silver Sisters vowed would come to pass. Your choice?
Got Seleni's moonlight shine on you, eh? I'll not deny it has a certain power and allure, but such a cold and distant light next to a scorching flame? There's no comparison.
You need not venture far to find me, Spawn of Hades, for I am everywhere, particularly where the darkness coalesces into seeming nothingness. Perhaps we shall see each other again when you are closer to your goal.
Aphrodite.
A little birdie told me you have met none other than the beautiful Narcissus, haven't you? You must think he's a shining example of all I stand for. Well, he's not. Because the greatest love is shared, not hoarded for oneself. I love it.
Boon of Hestia, did you? Well then, how about a quick reminder of the proper way to make a sacrifice?
Had to do it.
Just a little steamed back there, but I am back to my usual, quite irritable self, thank you.
And laughed. Oh, welcome! Should I have held back when I was challenged by the gods themselves to decide who was the greatest weaver of all? I was just a mortal girl. Can you imagine the pressure?
I wouldn't have held back either in your place. When our limits are put to the test, only then can we discover who we really are.
All I discovered was I ceased being a mortal girl anymore. You should have seen the masterpiece I made. Athena's little tapestry wasn't even close. Maybe it was worth it. My humiliation in exchange for hers.
Clad in Arachne's weavings once again. The black coat you now possess, surrounding you as though 'twas forged with you in mind. I feared that it was broken and beyond repair, but it was merely waiting.
Waiting for me. I've never wielded anything like it. Cassynth doesn't exactly listen to my thoughts, but heeds my every instinct.
Not your every instinct. The arms of night have a singular purpose, which they go about each in their own peculiar respect. You are to execute that purpose without fail.
Are you reached the bottom of the sea? Or very close to it? Must be even darker than what you're accustomed to. And the terrible pressure. Not even I can stand it for too long. So how can you?
Yeah, probably just Laurel coming back to fawn all over you again, right, man? Again.
May moonlight guide you.
Okay.
You're very focused, centered on the self, become inured somehow to the incessant singing that always echoes through these halls.
Speak not to me of echoes this or echoes that, okay? Echo meant nothing to me and somehow got the wrong idea anyway. And don't you get any ideas either.
Echo meant nothing to you? What? I was talking about Skiller's song and how you've blocked it out. Come to think, I can't quite hear it now either.
How about I learn to block you out with this?
At last, a worthy opponent. Not really dead, are you? Lord Uncle, a token of my appreciation. Though I knew of your generous spirit well before we finally met, I'd not expected you'd make time for me again and again like this.
Your brother once was similarly generous to me. I often wondered who could have taught him such deference. Old Hades didn't, that I knew. Where exactly are you, young lady? The outskirts of Poseidon's realm, it seems. You mean to circumnavigate your father's domain. Why confront the armies of Chronos head-on when you could go around? A clever move.
Well, that's a fashion choice. In my meeting with the gals the other night, we got to talking. I was talking mostly, but we started wondering, what is your deal? Jetty thinks maybe you're an agent?
Jetty is rather perceptive then, for I am indeed an agent of night. This realm has fallen to the Titan. We shall see it restored to its rightful rule, no matter who gets in our way.
I can't believe it, Jetty. You were right. An agent on the hunt. Well, your search is over, Agent Lady, because you won't find a bigger talent in the sea or out. Just watch. Hit it, gals!
Just stay out of my way. Let's split the killing down the middle, give or take. As in, I'll take your gold. Watch this.
Just fight. Message for me, Mel? Message for me, Mel? Message for me, Mel? Message for me, Mel? Why, yes. I saw Narcissus again recently, and he wanted me to tell you he said hi. For what it's worth, I think he's genuinely hoping that the two of you can still be friends. Can still be friends. Still be friends. Be friends. You've grown past your prior feelings for him. Though you don't mind if he still visits you now and again, do you? If he can tear himself away from his reflection. If he can tear himself away. Tear himself away. Tear himself away.
Trusty Hermon reached you after all, and just in time to face the gravest threats along your path. So may my blessing bring you victory.
How thoughtful.
He's suggesting an exchange.
Now, strictly speaking, niece, you chose correctly in deferring to my brother Zeus, but I must still save face.
Sorry.
Fear not, niece. All my anger's washed away as quickly as it swelled. That's emotions for you. The seas themselves are simpler to control. Back already.
Daughter, answer me something. How is it that the Titan's armies are well organized enough to siege Olympus, when the Titan himself cowers here in Tartarus?
We have another Titan to contend with there. Prometheus is leading the attack. I don't know how exactly he got free, or what he truly wants, other than vengeance on the gods.
Is vengeance on the gods an insufficient desire in itself? I wanted nothing to do with his sentencing, but your Lord Uncle Zeus, he really would always claim that he could fashion more creative punishments than I.
Welcome to my house. My understanding is that you attended quite the musical performance in the pit of Oceanus. to have navigated all of the infernal pipework just for that.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Such a vibrant interest there in the performing arts. You should visit more often.
I truly ought, and wrest control over the blasted place as my rightful domain. For now, I merely sponsor some of the delightful programming you enjoy each night. Accursed child. To have been brought this low once more by a mere god. You shall not succeed.
For Thanatos. A gift. The remains of time.
What does the future hold? Only the fates themselves, and perhaps Prometheus, the Titan of Foresight, know full well. Unfortunately, all of them are rather indisposed right now.
No! Return to Shadow now. Another eventful night.
Who dares? You think that you achieved a victory, witch? You merely prolonged your demise, for the Titan whom you vanquished possesses but the smallest fraction of my power.
So you heard. I'm surprised and humbled that you deigned to pay my meager accomplishments any heed, O Spirit. How did you know?
I am all-knowing.
Also, the shades out there were going off about it. Some of them are right outside the tent. Told them they can't come in, but they're still out there, I think.
Thank you for keeping them at bay.
Let's see. Goddess, latest reports said you encountered the King Vermin. Don't care if you're immortal. I'm relieved you made it back in one piece.
It can't be. I did confront a rodent of extraordinary savagery, but it was so little. I assumed the King Vermin was huge.
Tall tales. The King Vermin's wrath is inversely proportional to its stature, and its stature, as I understand, is very small indeed.
Ugh. Oskion Katoski. So mote it be.
You know, I journeyed far and wide throughout my mortal days. Met great mortals and even greater gods, but never could I have imagined ending up here, only to receive such a handsome gift from one such as you.
They say life takes strange turns, and so apparently does death, Odysseus. Whatever the fates may have in store, I hope you'll always be nearby to lend your counsel. Lord Moros, would you accompany me to the springs again sometime? And by sometime, I mean, are you busy now?
I feared you'd never ask again, Princess. I've longed for the warmth of the springs since last we visited. Oof. I surely can get used to this.
Your relationship with the Fates sounds like it must have been a complicated one. You've never been on your own, have you?
I haven't. They're my sisters and my elders. I grew up under their watchful eye, and I'm more than their brother. I was their guardian. But I couldn't protect them in the end. Perhaps they always knew I'd fail them, and loved me anyway.
You can't go thinking like that. You had one of the most important responsibilities in the world. The Fates are as all-knowing as they come, aren't they? Then it stands to reason there wasn't anybody better suited for the task than you.
Princess, would you just let me wallow in my misery a bit? Ah, no, wait. Forget it. It's gone. A mighty incantation on your part just now.
Anyway, I know you love your sisters, but the circumstances being what they are, perhaps some distance will be good for you.
Perhaps. These springs are good for me. Of that, I have no doubt.
Nor I.
I think I really needed that. And always wonderful to have your company.
I bid you shine for me again tonight.
I have arrived to join you at the outset of this cycle, to illuminate each step along your path. The path only appears familiar, so take care.
The light of the moon is all that now illuminates the surface, where the dead have risen, and Olympus teeters on the brink of doom.
Damn you, Chronos.
Oh, I was something in my glory days. Lots of suitors. I was a crack shot with a rail of adamant. You heard of it? Monstrous thing. Gave it up. Gave up warring altogether. Until now, apparently.
You showed old Gramps who's boss. Good going, him. That ought to trip him up a bit. Fine time to come on up and help us drive his forces off our turf. What's he saying?
Olympus.
Shame that the cursed city of Ephyra is your first exposure to the splendors of the surface, love. It stood in tribute to your mother and your father until Chronos had his way. I still grow angry when I think on it.
So Hestia gave you her gift of flame. Normally, the old miser wants nothing to do with any of us, not even her sisters. But extraordinary times do call for extraordinary measures.
Wouldn't you know it? Look, I'm just a humble shepherd trying to live in peace. But I gotta protect my own, you understand? Plus, I gotta eat.
You call this trying to live in peace? Perhaps you shouldn't be interfering with my efforts to put an end to this war raging all around us.
The dead don't bother me. It's the living always been a pain in my behind. Good thing the living tastes better than the dead.
Spider, tooth of shark, ray of light, and mote of dark. Welcome back. Fie on that never-ending fleet of ghastly sailing ships, all headed for the mountain of the gods. My little isle sometimes gets right in the way. No hospitality awaits their boorish crews, whilst I replenish my supply of firewood.
You must long for the days when your island was more secluded and had much less unwanted company. I hope I'm not disturbing your peace, madam.
Oh, heavens no! In actuality, it could be rather all too quiet with only the rustle of the vegetation and the snuffle of my piggies and the like. I more than welcome your returns.
Lord Uncle.
Chronos has quite the relentless fleet there in the Rift of Thessaly. Ships packed with bodies and supplies. Very clever of you stowing away to disrupt the enemy lines.
Thought that was you. Look at us, all settled into our routine. I hate routines. Oh, I'll get you for this.
Soon you shall be afraid of me, Dragon. mountains for the gods.
I knew it.
Why do you care so much for mortals anyhow? Their lives are short, their flesh is weak. Only in death do many of them finally begin to gain some sense.
Any laborer of skill cares for their work. Mortals, poor sods, created in the image of the gods, yet forced to be inferior so that they could never achieve what my master and I now intend.
You mean to say that you fashioned mortal kind, then stole the fire from this mountain for their sake? Absurd.
The truth can be difficult to absorb. Mortals live only to suffer. As I am responsible for that, I sought to take some of their suffering from them and redistribute it to all of you. Very well. I see. But hold always to the chance I may be wrong. I've suffered worse.
Go lick your wounds. For my father. Always use more.
Having endured the Titan of Foresight's wrath, the Princess of the Dead stands poised to gain the summit of Olympus. But the night by now has grown so very dark that she shall have to wait a while longer to proceed.
You! Return to Shadow now. Good enough. A satisfactory result that time, wouldn't you say?
How'd it go? Okay. So hold on. How is it you're going after the Titan of Time way down below, but he's also attacking Olympus way up top? Is he two separate guys, or just the one?
Chronos isn't attacking Olympus personally, Dora. He's just sending his legions there. He has a dangerous commander leading the assault. A different Titan called Prometheus.
A different Titan called Prometheus? Prometheus. Huh.
Yes, the Titan of Foresight. Even you probably know the tale of his punishment for stealing from the gods.
No, it's... I think... Nah, don't worry about it. See you later, Mel.
You sure?
Prometheus.
Come to your senses, Eris. You're not doing yourself any favors by impeding the will of the fates. Have you heard of even a single incident where that turned out for the best?
No, but there's a first time for everything, and I'm not interested in hearing veiled threats from them through you. If they care so much about what I'm up to, why don't they contact me themselves?
You know that isn't how it works. Have you truly made up your mind to side against, well, everyone? Even I'm not supposed to be speaking to you.
I do what I want, Moros.
More of this filth.
Returned from on high. We have a bit of a personnel problem with our Circe the Enchantress. Her isle is poised to survey our enemy's fleet, reports of which ought go directly to Odysseus, except they go to me.
A gap in communication. By your leave, Headmistress, I can notify her of the proper protocol when next we meet.
You shall not speak of this to her at all. I raise the point so you can be aware. Circe has long been a valuable asset and ally. Your visits to her isle may help keep it that way.
Understood.